A useful visual tool is something called the stress performance curve, and this is commonly seen on a graph. So on the bottom axis, the x-axis, we have stress, pressure, and on the y-axis, up the side, we have our performance. So the graph itself is in the shape of a bell, or like an upside down U. So it starts off low, reaches a peak, and then comes back down again. And so what we see in the bottom left-hand corner, this is where stress and pressure is low, and our performance is also low. So this is a space where we haven't really got much going on that's giving us any kind of pressure or motivation. So we might feel bored, stagnant, unfulfilled, unengaged, unstimulated, unmotivated in that space. And then as the line starts to rise and we're experiencing a little bit of pressure, a little bit of stress, this is where we notice that our performance actually starts to increase, because we've got some stuff going on there that is engaging us, that we're really kind of getting our teeth into. It might be challenging us a little bit, and so we're feeling fulfilled by that. We're feeling maybe a bit driven. And then eventually we get to the peak. And this is where we are at our very best. This is our optimal zone. This is where we have sufficient stresses and pressures and challenges to make us feel really engaged, to keep us interested, to keep us motivated. Things feel like they're really going well. We're maybe kind of in our very best zone. And this is a great place to be, because this is where we are at our best performance. Everything's in balance there, and it means that we can be at our best. However, then the curve starts to slide down a bit. So this is where the stress and pressures are increasing to a point where we cannot be at our best under that level of stress and pressure. So we might start to notice that our performance drops off slightly. And when we say performance, we're not just thinking about in work context. We might be seeing this in other areas of life, in all areas of life. So our performance starts to drop off slightly, because the stress has reached a point where it's just a bit too much and we're not at our optimum point there. So we start to notice things starting to slide. We might also notice shifts in how we're feeling. We might start to notice that we're feeling a bit pressured, a bit overwhelmed, a bit anxious, a bit worried, a little bit irritable. We might notice that something's going on that's telling us, okay, I'm moving outside of the zone where I'm at my best. And if the pressures and stresses continue to increase, this is where we then see the curve come down further, and this is where we will be really noticing some things happening with maybe our thinking, our feelings, our behaviours, our performance. And in this space, we cannot perform as well because the demands and the pressure are too high. Then eventually the curve can come back down to the bottom, and this is where we're reaching a space of exhaustion, burnout. The stress and pressures are at a level that we cannot cope with, and actually our performance completely bottoms out at that point, because we cannot perform under that level of stress and pressure. We cannot meet whatever the expectations are, and it becomes completely overwhelming at that stage.